Okay, so going back to the Olympus tournament after the preliminary round, which I showed in my last video, this was one of my two semifinals that I played right after that. The semifinals were two per player, OMG scoring, so basically whoever gets the most points from the sum of the two semifinal games can get to the final game. And this was my first semifinal game. The semifinals were played at the same time in any case, so I was playing this game and the other game at the same time. And in this game, I was given France. I was excited to get France because France is very, very strong, a little bit too strong for my liking, but given that at this point in time I hadn't played France in a while, I was happy to play it again. And in this particular game, there are many players that are very strong. Child's play is over, so let's see what I can do. And by the way, this game was covered to death on YouTube. I don't know if this is the most covered game ever, but given that I am making a video about it, and GeoMine, also called Mind Dodge, has made a short video about it, and this game is also being covered recently by DBN. This is the third iteration of this game's coverage, but given that I played in this game, this is the most personal coverage of it. So I will link the other videos in the descriptions, and I will also link the Olympus server. To the link, go to the Olympus server on Discord and sign up for the Olympus tournament season 2 that will start in September. So in this game I'm France, and as I say every video I make, the first order of business is talking to my neighbors, even though good relationship with distant powers is also very important in these kind of games. So I talk with England and Germany, and I pitch to both of them alliances, FG and EF. I also talk with Italy, and I try to get some cooperation. I promise to Italy that I will not attack them the whole game as long as we keep the Piedmont, Gulf of Leon, Western Med, and North Africa area empty. And Italy agrees, so that's good. At the same time, I talk with England and I arrange a DMZ in English Channel. And I talk with Germany, and Germany wants a DMZ in Burgundy, meaning that Burgundy should stay empty. But I actually tell them that I prefer to move to Burgundy, and they accept that. So after all that process, we can see that England kept his word and didn't move to English Channel, which is great, and I also didn't move there. I moved to Mid-Atlantic Ocean. Italy just held with Venice, which is great, no move to Piedmont to annoy me, and I moved to Burgundy, supported by Marseille, and Germany also moves to Burgundy. Now, why did I move to Burgundy? I think it was because of my message that was slightly ambiguous. I said I prefer to move to Burgundy. If that's okay, it leaves me a little bit more protected. And I think they understood that I wasn't gonna support the move to Burgundy, so they tried to bounce my move. But I supported it, so I get into Burgundy, and Germany is stuck in Munich, meaning that Germany has no say with their opening on who gets Belgium. I could get Belgium, England could get Belgium, or no one could get it, but Germany cannot get it this turn. And actually, this opening for France is great because not only it's very defensive, you are safe from Germany, are reasonably safe from Italy if Italy decides to move to Piedmont. The only real danger is a move to English Channel, but what can you do? But this is kind of the ideal situation because now I can take Portugal and Spain for sure. I don't have Marseille to cover because Italy is in Venice. And I can just move Burgundy to Belgium and try to take Belgium, or just bouncing and out of it. So England comes to me and says, hey, I want to get Norway and Belgium and you get Portugal and Spain. We get 2 wins each, and we go for this powerful EF alliance against Germany and Russia. And I say, even though I want to ally with you, I want to take things slow. I don't want to telegraph that I'm allying with you. So I would rather bounce you in Belgium if you don't mind. Just to slow things down and see what we see. If I can really trust you and stuff like that. I mean, I think if you're France, FG is better than EF. Of course, any alliance is better than no alliance, but I don't know, I like FG a little bit more. And at this point, it was very open, the possibility of an alliance with both my neighbors, because they were really talkative in any case. So I decided, you know what, I'm just going to move to Belgium, get 2 wins. Germany gets Holland and Denmark, England gets only Norway, and I'm at the moment the strongest one in the West, because I'm France. So I thank this to England, and I thank this to Germany too. Germany asked me, so what are you gonna do with Burgundy? And I just say, I'm gonna bounce England out of Belgium. And he says, do I need to offer you something to bounce England out of Belgium? And I say, no need. I'm gonna do it. In any case, my motivation is that I don't want England to get out of hand, to get too strong too early. So Germany is happy with my moves. I'm telling him I'm not moving to Munich, and that I'm bouncing England out of Belgium, which is what he wants. He wants Belgium to remain neutral. But when England gets my message that I want to bounce in Belgium, they say, you know what? A bounce in Belgium seems like a waste to me, a waste of time. Since you want to move to Belgium, I'm just going to bounce Germany to Holland, since I'm not going to get Belgium, he says, which is amazing for me. Like, I get 3 wins and England bounces Germany in Holland, getting Germany's enmity so early in the game. It's crazy and beautiful from my point of view. So I say, yeah, go for it. It's great. We're gonna be such great allies. I'm literally salivating thinking about the result of this turn. So let's see. So what happens is I get Portugal, Spain, and Belgium, while England bounces Germany out of Holland. So England and Germany both get 1 unit, and they can't really blame me for this. I did everything in a very neutral way, pro-German way. So Germany can't really blame me for not getting Holland, even though I knew and I didn't warn them. On the rest of the board, just one thing. Everything is going pretty much normally, except that Turkey moved to Armenia in spring and now is moving to Sevastopol, while Russia got into Black Sea and now is trying to move to Constantinople, but doesn't get in. From the DMZ in Galicia in Fulham, we can think that there is a Russia-Austria alliance, and Russia was duped by Turkey into doing a swap in giving Sevastopol to Turkey when Turkey gives Constantinople to Russia. It's quite unusual, but maybe it's to get that Russian fleet into the Mediterranean. And it was actually a lie, and Turkey didn't give Constantinople to Russia, but they took Sevastopol from them, and they bounced them in Romania. So it's quite tough for Russia, who actually gets 0 wins because they gain Sweden but lose Sevastopol. And I was hoping that Italy would convoy Apulia to Tunis and go for Lepanto. They moved their fleet into Tunis, which is slightly less friendly towards me, but Piedmont is still at DMZ, so I can't complain, and I get 3 wins. The only downside to this is that when France gets 3 wins in 1901, it usually paints a target on their back. I'm clearly the strongest on the board at the moment, but I'm not so strong that I can keep everything that I have. England and Germany can easily team up and deprive me of Belgium immediately. So I need to paint myself as a team player. I need to slow down a bit, I think. But in a theoretical sense, I really enjoy getting Belgium wherever I am in the north. Many people say that Belgium is a poisoned apple, a poisoned fruit. It's something that if you get it, you usually end up regretting it. But actually, I think if paired with good diplomacy, getting Belgium is only a good thing in 1901, even for France. So during the build phase, I'm thinking, you know what? I see France as a mainly naval power. I think France should have more fleets than armies, and I hate when people don't build fleets in winter 1901 as France. I think it's completely counterproductive. And in this particular case, I think my best builds are fleets in Marseille and Brest and only one army in Paris. Of course, I imagine England wants me to build only one fleet and not two, while Germany is happy for me to build in two fleets. Of course, this situation, even though I'm officially in an EF with England, when I'm talking to him, I don't even take into consideration not building two fleets. If not for Italy, really insists that I waive one build. They don't want a fleet build in Marseille at all costs. They want me to waive one build, and waiving is fine when the situation calls for it. But since not even England is asking me for it, and only Italy is insisting so much and is so paranoid, he thinks that if I build a fleet in Marseille, it will only be for anti-Italian purposes. I really struggle this turn to convince Italy that I'm not going to attack them. But in the end, it's up to me. Italy, other than threaten me, cannot do much. So I say, hey, Italy, look, I have to say no. I have to build all my units. I don't want to wave. I don't feel like I need to this particular turn because not even England or Germany are asking for it. So why should I listen to Italy, who is a little bit less relevant to me in this particular moment? So I just decided to say no to Italy and build two fleets. I take the diplomatic hit in my relation with Italy because I needed to say no, and no one ever wants to hear no from anyone. So yeah, so these are my builds, and Italy is not happy about it. And their obvious build of a fleet could be used to go to Western Mediterranean Sea and Piedmont and attack me. And if it comes to that, I will deal with it. But I really hope they take advantage of the situation, because at this point it seems like Austria might be turning on Russia, since Russia is so weak, and an AT might be forming, so Italy needs to focus on that and not on me. At the same time, England builds in London, and they say, you know, it's obvious that I'm gonna build in London since you are going to build in Brest. It's all fine. We're not enemies, but it's a matter of mutual security. And they say, yeah, of course it is. While I speak with Germany, who has one army, of course, as France, armies can be used against me from a German perspective, but I think Germany is still my best bet at this moment. So I try to say to Germany, hey, let's work against England at this moment. I will rotate my fleets and attack them. Can you please tap the North Sea? And this is basically the most Germany can do for me. Tap the North Sea for me, basically for the foreseeable future, while I position in English Channel, Mid-Atlantic Ocean, etc. And Germany says yes. At the same time, talking with England, I say, hey, I'm gonna rotate my fleets south and attack Italy with them, and I'm gonna use my armies to help you against Germany. So let's keep the English Channel open, right? And he says, yeah, of course, why not? So in spring, we can see that England and I both lied to each other. England tried to enter the English Channel, and I did too, but thanks to Germany, who is tapping North Sea, I managed to bounce England out of English Channel because the support is cut, and I'm rotating my units around. Italy moves to Tyrrhenian Sea, which is a cautious move. He's waiting to see if I'm going for him, and my moves clearly show that I'm anti-English. The bounce in Burgundy is arranged, and I support Germany into Holland. The Holland bounce in 1901 from England is the reason why Germany is siding with me rather than with England at this moment. So I think I got Germany on my side thanks to that English choice in 1901. That was actually because I wanted to do an anti-English move by bouncing them in Belgium. So everything is going according to plan, thanks to what I'm doing diplomatically and my neighbors' decisions. We can see that Austria and Turkey are actually working together against Russia. As predicted, Russia retakes Sevastopol but loses the Black Sea, and Austria supports Turkey in Romania while bouncing Italy in Ionian. At this point, I'm talking with Austria a lot, and I'm saying, hey, you know what happens in ATs that starts like this, right? At this point, you and Turkey have the same number of centers, but Turkey is much more powerful than Austria on paper, so you should have an advantage on number of centers if you want to go for an AT. And I am afraid of what's happening here. I don't want Turkey to go out of control, because even though I'm doing well in the West, if Turkey's team runs the East, it's all over. They top the board, they win. I can do anything. So I say to Austria, be careful and don't commit 100% to this alliance with Turkey. See what you can do to be the main beneficiary of this. I fear Austria a little bit less than Turkey at the moment. And Austria says, yeah, don't worry, I am keeping an eye on that. And I am saying to Italy, hey, you need to do something about this AT, prop up Russia in some way, attack Turkey, do something, because this is trouble. And in fall 1902, I keep my attack against England. I choose to forego the English Channel because, I mean, it's not foregoing it. I ask Germany, hey, can you keep tapping North Sea? And Germany says, yes, of course. And England moves to English Channel with North Sea. So they take English Channel, avoiding my move from Brest. While I continue rotating my fleet to activate them, I move to Irish Sea because I think that a convoy to Wings would be possible, while if I move to North Atlantic, it's a bit more, I don't know, I think North Atlantic in this particular case was worse than Irish Sea, even though most times can be better. But in any case, and we see a great move in the east, the stab on Turkey by Austria. So this 80 ended up being what Bradford calls Trojan horse alliance, an alliance that has very few turns and that Austria used to get Turkey's moves, Turkey's trust, and an immediate advantage and lead in the east. Austria has owned the Balkans now and will proceed to be the dominant power in the east at this point. I am really disappointed that Russia misguessed in the north and loses St. Petersburg, because St. Petersburg is the oxygen that England needs, the necessary build to survive. If England stays at 4, I will eventually, with Germany's help, crack them. But if they grow with St. Petersburg and Norway and other centers up in the northeast, it will be very difficult to defeat them. At the same time, I self-bounce in Burgundy, telling Germany I'm doing that, so that my units, my armies stay in place. Gascony is a great place because from Gascony I can convoy to England, but also I'm very close to Germany. And I tell Germany, hey, Burgundy is DMSD, so you can do whatever you want to Munich. And they move Munich to St. Leger. Great. They move away from me. I couldn't ask for a better move from my perspective. So during the beam phase, only Germany gets an army. Of course, I'm not happy about the army because, but on another hand, even though the army can only be used against me after England is dead, the German fleet can also only be used against me. So in any case, I understand whatever Germany builds because I see the French-German alliance as an alliance that can evolve either in a stab after England is gone against Germany, or I can attack Italy and Germany can do whatever, attack Russia, Austria. So in that case, he needs armies. He needs armies if he wants to attack the Eastern powers. So I can't really complain. And they are in the North Sea. Austria gets two beams. Turkey disbands pro-Russian, and I think and England gets a new fleet in Edinburgh, which is I think the best being they could have gotten. Yeah, an army is useful, but they already have an army in Liverpool, so they don't need a second army, and I suppose they want to prioritize retaking the North Sea. So in spring 1903, I continue attacking England by taking the English Channel, and England moves away from the English Channel to North Sea, supported by Edinburgh, which means that Germany moves away from North Sea to Denmark. So it's all very predictable, while England is protecting Wales with a safe bounce. I also protect Burgundy with a safe bounce, and I protect Belgium, moving Picardy to Belgium. So the only move, the only move that could take Belgium is a supported move on that, which I think it's unlikely. And Austria now is going to attack Russia when Russia and Turkey are working together, but it's far too late. And it seems that Italy is going for a late Lepanto. So it seems that this is an AI versus RT, but with an unusually weak RT and a very strong AI, especially Austria, of course. Italy is still at 4. And England moves to Norway, which is understandable to cover it, but it will be important next turn. So this turn is probably the turning point for me. Of course, for Austria, it was last year, when they stabbed Turkey, but for me, this is it. Because now I see what Germany is doing. Germany is officially working with me, and they have done it by tapping North Sea a couple of times. But at the same time, this turn, it becomes clear that they're also working with England behind the scenes by supporting Norway to Sweden, which is the last thing I want to see. Because now that I guess correctly, because England prioritizes the defense of London and Liverpool, so I convoy to Wales, even though they had defended Wales last turn, so I outguess England. England also moves Edinburgh to Clyde, and getting Sweden, they can build again. Even though this England is attacked by France and to a lesser extent by Germany, England is at 6. They have the same number of centers I have. They are extremely difficult to defeat. Germany gets Warsaw, and Italy gets Smyrna with Austria's help. So I'm happy to see Italy be a sort of a counterbalance for Austria, as long as Italy doesn't attack me. So at this point, I've been officially keeping Burgundy demilitarized by doing these safe bounces in Burgundy. I have convoyed Picardy and not Gascony to Wales, which would have been, I guess, a little more friendly to Germany. And I was still pondering, after England is defeated, who am I going to attack? Germany or Italy? I was erring towards Italy at this point. But then Germany does this, and now I think, yeah, Germany is definitely playing me. I actually consider this move a soft stab. Germany is saying, yeah, I'm sorry, I didn't really see the consequences. I didn't understand that it will make conquering England so much more difficult, they say to me. I don't buy it. And after the game, they confirmed that they knew this was a soft stab. So I consider this a stab. So what can I do? I can be outraged with Germany and say, hey, this is a stab, I don't accept it, there will be repercussions or something like that, and push Germany into England's arms. Or I can say, hey, totally cool, don't worry, it's fine. Don't do it again, but it's fine. So what do I do? So I insist that Germany brings a fleet in Berlin, which he does, because I want them to take Scandinavia at this point, and they do. Italy brings an army, which is great. They see the danger of Austria, great. I'm having some difficulty getting Italy's trust after I didn't wave in 1901. They say that, I don't know, I haven't been the most receptive of allies with them, but at the same time, Italy is doing what I want, so it's fine. They are weaker than Austria by a significant margin, but at least they are the only one in the south that can do anything to slow Austria down a bit, because Russia is crumbling, attacked by all sides. This is terrible for Russia, and Turkey is also dying. So in 1904, I decided to go for a number of guesses, which are, okay, first of all, I moved Mid-Atlantic Ocean to North Atlantic Ocean, and I support that move with Irish Sea, that is all guaranteed, so I have two units on Liverpool. At the same time, I demand from Germany, hey, you need to tap North Sea. So I made some friendly demands from Germany after they supported England into Sweden, which was a totally unnecessary move in an FG. So I say, hey, you have to bring a fleet in Berlin, otherwise I cannot trust you. They do. I say, okay, move that fleet into Baltic Sea and tap absolutely North Sea this turn. And they do. So these are my demands. But I also decide to retaliate. After that support of England into Sweden, I decide to move into Burgundy. So instead of doing a safe bounce into Burgundy, I moved Gascony to Burgundy, and I just hold with Belgium. I thought about doing something with Belgium, like tapping Holland or moving to Ruhr or stuff like that, but I need to mess with Germany just enough without actually openly stabbing them. So even though this is totally a retaliation and totally I guess a stab, a revenge stab because they stabbed me last turn, I will claim that I misordered Belgium, that I intended to self bounce again for the third or fourth time in a row, and I forgot to order Belgium. And it is somewhat believable when you do, even though it's a very lame excuse. I think Germany believes me, and I say, hey, if you don't believe me, it's fine. But this is what happened, and I think they buy it, which is better diplomatically than saying, yeah, I totally did it on purpose to mess with you because you messed with me. So I do it, and I'm in a better position to attack Germany if I want to. And at the same time, I guess correctly on London. Basically, London should have moved to wings supported by Liverpool, given that North Sea is going to be tapped, but that can be countered by a simple move to London by English Channel, or a convoy from Wales to London by English Channel, something like that. So it was a guess. I outguessed England once again, and I get into London. And since England moved to Yorkshire and Wales, the fleet in London is actually disbanded, which is great. We can see in the east that Italy is supporting into Constantinople, and Austria supports himself into Ukraine. So basically, we can see that it's basically Austria doing the hard work and Italy reaping the fruits of Austria's power, which is amazing. And it's totally what needs to happen there. So this turn signs the end for England. Not only they lost London last turn, they also lost St. Petersburg to Russia because it was impossible to cover. So Russia, even though they're dying, they're still playing, which is great because they're messing with England. England loses Sweden, but gains Denmark, so not really a gain from Germany. And I think England misread the situation on the Isle. they sent me a message saying that they could not retake London, so they would just leave me London um, and protect Liverpool, something like that. But actually, they could have retaken. It was a guess, and given the message that they sent me, and my read on what their moves would do, I cut Yorkshire and Wales, I cut everything, and I take Liverpool. So Liverpool was guaranteed. What was not guaranteed is London, because they could have retaken London given this set of moves by me, but I correctly assumed that they didn't see this possibility, so they didn't retake London. They sent me a message say, hey, London is lost. It's not, but it was lost in their eyes, which helped me understand how to take Liverpool. So yeah, Turkey is down to 1, and Germany covers Munich. Another thing, I am still in deep conversations with Austria. At this point, it's clear that Austria is my main rival in this game. We are having a competition on who's playing the best game, and I say, hey, what are you doing with Galicia and Ukraine this turn? Before I see the moves, of course. And they say that they're probably attacking Sevastopol, attacking Russia, and stuff like that. And I say, you know what? You don't need to tell me, but I just want to remind you that you have a very real possibility of taking Warsaw here. Just saying that. And they do it. They actually say, yeah, I took your advice and I took Warsaw, which is great. I am continuing to undermine my ally in retaliation for what he had done, which is undermine me. I think undermining your ally is a very key component of this game, but if I find out that you are doing to me, I will do it tremendously to you, in any case. So at this point, I enter talks with England, and they offer to Janissary for me. They say that they respect the way I conducted myself. They blame Germany for their demise because Germany kept flip-flopping between their allegiance with me and with them, and I ended up gaining from it. It's clear. Look at the map. I got London, Liverpool, and Belgium, and Germany doesn't have anything to show for the conquest of England. So England says, hey, can you give me something if I become your janissary? And they say, you know what? Yes, I can give you Holland. I can convoy Yorkshire to Holland. I mean, you can convoy Yorkshire to Holland. I can support that move. And you can get some German centers. In exchange, I want you to disband firmly to me, so disband Wales and Clyde, and I will not take Edinburgh from you, so that you can keep building in Edinburgh, and so you're not dead. You're my janissary, but I will leave you a home center, and I will give you German centers, and you can build fleets in Edinburgh and attack with those. And they buy it. I'm not sure I want to do it, but they buy it. And so I fully stabbed Germany this turn. Basically, 1904 was my posturing, kind of retaliating without telling them that I was retaliating for their soft stab in 1903. And in 1905, I fully stabbed Germany. I moved to Burgundy from Paris. And by the way, the army build was kind of telling. And I also built a fleet in Marseille because it was obvious that I needed a fleet in the south. Of course, Italy sees that and doesn't like it and is furious with me and moves to Tyrrhenian Sea, but I think I was convincing enough not to get them to move to Tunis, so I don't need to worry about that. I get into Ruhr, I support Yorkshire to Holland, but at the same time I move London to Yorkshire and Liverpool to Clyde, preparing to take Edinburgh because yes, I want England as a janissary, but I don't want them to build anymore, so I want to take Edinburgh. And I move IHC to Mao, so I am attacking everyone. I'm moving south to attack Italy, and I'm moving against Germany. I'm using England, what's left of England, to my advantage. But in fall 1905, I stabbed England not only by taking Edinburgh, but also by retaking Holland. As you can see, I told England to support himself into Kiel. The plan was you get Holland and Kiel, and you get a bind even though you're losing Norway. But of course, I'm retaking Edinburgh. I'm taking Edinburgh, and I'm taking Holland. Now, by the way, I took Holland this way with Ruhr, which is not the optimal way. The optimal way was to take it from Belgium, supported by Ruhr, but I wanted to make sure. And by tapping Munich, this is guaranteed, while taking it with Belgium would not be guaranteed because Munich can tap Ruhr. So it's kind of not optimal, but the best move by a tactical point of view. So it's a kind of slow, and its slowness. It's a problem because at this moment Austria rushes to the stalemate line and moves to Tyrolia in Bohemia, ready to. I think it's not protect Germany. I think it's ready to take the southern part of Germany for themselves. I move to Western Med, but Italy rushes to the west. So at this point, it becomes pretty clear that I'm not gonna get Tunis, and it's gonna be very difficult. I don't think I can crack the south. I need to win only by topping with the northern centers, which is fine. I can get to 17, or can I? If Germany decides to protect against me and not against Austria, actually Austria can take Munich and Berlin, and I cannot. So I can get at most to 15. So if Austria manages to take the Italian centers, Austria can top and actually solo, while I cannot do that in any way. So I'm really worried about Austria. So I am already trying to apologize with England and Germany and say, hey, I know I basically destroyed you both, but can we rally against Austria because I don't want a solo in a semifinal? Which, by the way, a solo is very improbable unless Italy messes up. But I don't know, Italy could mess up, and at this moment, even though I had destroyed them, I had enough rapport with them that I think they preferred me winning to Austria winning, which is interesting. But let's see. So I get other beings, I get an army, etc. Turkey and Russia are out, and Germany has a being in Berlin because even though they lost Kiel, they gained a lot of Scandinavians in Petersburg. So it's far from over for Germany, by the way. But unfortunately, spring 1906 is kind of a diplomatic failure for me. I don't manage to convince England and Germany to work with me this turn. They still are fighting with each other and fighting against me. Mainly England is fighting against me. Germany is trying to retake Kiel, but probably doesn't realize that this will result in them losing Munich and Berlin. And England is understandably trying to hit Holland, and I'm getting into the North Sea. The south is locked up. So it's basically over. I don't even try to move to Piedmont because at this point, this whole bouncing exercise in the south, it's all arranged with Italy. I'm saying to Italy, hey, I'm not going to get anything, but I don't want to disturb you because I don't want you to get stabbed by Austria. Can we arrange moves so that you can stab Austria in the future? And he says, yes, let's arrange these bounces. So these bounces that you can see in the south are all arranged with Italy from now on. I have given up on getting Tunis. My last offensive move against Italy was last turn. From now on, it's all arranged. And it's pretty clear because Venice and Marseille are not even moving to Piedmont. So since I cannot find a compromise with England, even though I'm supporting Munich, I cannot move Belgium or Holland to Ruhr, which means that Munich will be lost to Austria. And presumably Berlin too, so that will be a permanent loss that we cannot overcome. It's a stalemate. And that is exactly what happened. Even though I am supporting Munich with 1, attack with 3, and with Italy unwilling yet to tap Tyrolia, Munich is lost to Austria. As you can see, I am moving Western Med to Spain and Mid-Atlantic Ocean to English Channel. This is all arranged with Italy. They want some sort of confirmation that I'm not going to attack them. I am moving to Piedmont with their pressing so that I can tap Tyronia, and I ask them to move to Armenia and Aegean so that they can effectively stab Austria, at least for Greece, in the future. And they do. At the same time, I am moving to Norwegian Sea. The official excuse at this point, Germany, England, and I are working together against Austria. I have formed a group chat, and I'm basically flouting this fear that Austria is crossing the stalemate line. They're going for the Sono. I am not going for the Sono because I'm not beyond the stalemate line. So they should fear Austria and not me, which is partly true, partly a lie. It is true, but at the same time, I am confident that Italy will stop Austria, and Austria will not be able to solo in any way in this game. So it's really a question of who gets the board top, Austria or I. And at this moment, I am protecting the German centers, and I am promising Germany and England survival and a part of the draw, while Austria is trying to defeat them, or at least defeat Germany. And my moves to Norwegian Sea, etc., are designed to support officially St. Petersburg. So I am moving to Barents Sea officially to support St. Petersburg indefinitely, or something like that. I don't know. I am lying there. I want the Scandinavian centers to get the board top, but I need to find a way to work with Germany and England and still take their centers if I want to win. So it's a delicate balance. Boring beans, let's go on. And in spring 1907, I do just that. I circle around Scandinavia. England is greatly preoccupied and says, hey, Germany, you're going to lose Scandinavia. Germany kind of believes me that I am not going to do that because they see that they're useful. And I actually convinced England to support Berlin twice, which works. And I convinced Germany to support Ruhr to Munich, which also works. It shouldn't have worked because Austria should be able to retain Munich here. It's only since Kiel is a fleet and I cannot take Kiel from England if I don't want Denmark to tap me or something like that. Munich is lost forever since Kiel is a fleet. But since Austria made a mistake here and tried for Berlin, while they should have just supported themselves, I retake Munich, which is great. Now Austria is not even over the stalemate line. So potentially I can get to 17, even though it's very unlikely, because if I try to get to 17, Germany and England will land Austria into Berlin and Munich again. Italy is helping me in Tyronia. I am bouncing in west. It's so arranged here, and Italy is perfectly protected against me, and they're positioning for a stab on Austria. That is great. So I have Italy positioning on a stab on Austria. Germany and England on my side in exchange for their survival. And I am in Munich and positioned to take another center in Scandinavia. And fall 1907 is the turn where Austria, even though is currently leading at 11 and I am at 10, loses their by much their lead. Because I not only take Munich and Berlin supports me, Austria doesn't even try to retake it. I also stab Germany for Norway and only Norway by tapping St. Petersburg and taking Norway, and Italy stabs with a guaranteed move. Sort of, it's not guaranteed. Serbia could have supported Greece, so it's not. But in any case, Italy takes Greece. So Austria loses 2 and I gain 2. So in winter 1907, I am in the lead with 12 centers, while Austria is at 9 and Italy is at 8. This is all because Italy wants second place. They realize that they want to maximize their results, so Greece is what they need at the moment and maybe more. And Austria is down to 9 and I am in the lead. Now, theoretically, I could take Denmark, Kiel, Sweden, and St. Petersburg. In the long run, no one can stop me from taking that. I can get to 15 for sure. Can I get to 17? Probably not. If I start to attack St. Petersburg, Sweden, and Denmark, and Kiel, Germany and England will cooperate with Austria and give Austria, Berlin, and Munich. My calculations are this. if Austria gets those 2 centers and I gain 4 more, I am still in the lead and by more, but I cannot predict what Italy can do. Because at this point, Italy will be in a far third place, will make many fewer points than predicted. So I fear what Italy would do if the game goes on and I try to reach those 15 centers. And I feel like these 12 centers are enough. So I make the chicken move, the cowardly move, and I say, hey, why don't we draw right now? Austria agrees because they see that their score is only gonna worsen unless Italy gives them centers. Italy agrees because this is basically the maximum they can get. And Germany and England obviously agree because they get something and they get survival. So the game ends here in spring 1908 or winter 1907 in a 5-way draw, and I get the board top with a great scoring that, together with my other game, allowed me to reach the final game. Italy scoring allowed also with their other game allowed them to reach the final game, and Austria by very few points didn't manage to get into the final. They got into 8th place in the tournament, with 7th being required to get into the final. So tough luck for Austria. I think we could have had a very different final if I didn't beat Austria in this game as I did. While even if I got second place, I probably would have got into the final in any case given my scoring. But we cannot speculate on that. And I actually keep my word with England and Germany. Yes, I took Norway, which was not a part of the plan, but I did make them survive, while in this position I could have guaranteed their elimination. Unfortunately, this was not enough, and neither Germany nor England managed to qualify for the final. But it was a great game, and I really appreciated every single player. They were really great, every single one of them. This was a very good game, I think, and that's why it's been covered so much on YouTube. An example of what diplomacy should be like, I think, with everyone trying to get the maximum score possible. And even though I could have gotten more centers, I could have gotten to 15. I didn't have a guarantee that my 15 wouldn't have been followed by a bigger Austria because Italy decides to give centers to Austria. So this was the less risky option. In a way, even though I didn't keep playing a little bit more for the maximum number of centers I can guarantee, I went for the guaranteed win, which is, I think, very diplomacy-like. Also, this game is an example of what you can do to pitch your allies one against the other, with the Holland bounce in 1901, and what to do to mess with your ally when you realize that they're messing with you, which I did with Germany, because many other players, and even I in many games, would just jump to Germany and say, hey, I see what you're doing, don't do that, I am outraged. But instead, I pretended not to understand what Germany was up to, and I took the necessary countermeasures, and I destroyed Germany for that soft stab, I would call it. We also had an example of Trojan horse alliance between Austria and Turkey, which can be greatly beneficial. So I think this was a great game with many examples of great play. Even the players that got eliminated played very well. So yeah, I'm really proud of this game. Next time we will cover my other semifinal game, which was very different from this one. In this game, I was pretty dominant the whole time, except for that small parenthesis in which Austria was dominating the game. But the other game was very different, a totally different playstyle. And in that game, I was Italy. So we'll see you then. And I hope you enjoyed this very long video, or videos, because since I predict it's very long, I will probably have split this commentary into parts. So see you then, and thanks for listening this long.